Okay, so real talk. You opened that high yield savings account and you felt smart. Like finally you figured something out. 5% interest, your money working for you. You even told people about it. Look, I get it. I did the same thing. But here's the thing nobody mentions. That account you're so proud of, it might actually be slowing you down, not helping you, slowing you down. And the math behind this, it's going to make you a little uncomfortable. Trust me on that. My name is Ricky, and if you've ever felt like you're doing everything right financially, but still not getting ahead, you're in exactly the right place. Hit subscribe. Let's figure this out together. So here's how this usually plays out. You opened the account, you saw that 5% rate, you moved your money over and felt genuinely good about it. Every month you check it, that $40 of interest drops in, feels nice. But then, well, your rent goes up $60, and suddenly that 40 bucks didn't even cover the difference. You're not ahead, you're not behind, you're just maintaining. And maintaining is not the same as building. Here's what most people don't realize in that moment. They don't have a savings problem, they have a strategy problem. The high yield savings account was marketed as a solution, but it's really just a slightly better parking spot for your money. And parking your money is not the same as growing it. Nobody tells you that part. Okay, so let's challenge something real quick. Most people believe a high-yield savings account is a smart, responsible move. And look, it's not wrong. It's better than a regular savings account. Definitely better than cash in a shoebox. Look, I get it. Did the same thing. But here's the thing. Better than bad is not the same as good. We've been trained to think 5% is impressive. And compared to the 0.01% big banks were offering a few years ago, sure, it felt amazing. But let's zoom out. The inflation right now is sitting around 3 to 3.5%. So your 5% account, in real purchasing power, you're gaining about 1.5%. That's it, 1.5. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The S&P 500, just a basic index fund, nothing fancy, has averaged around 10% annually over the last 30 years, through crashes, through 2008, through 2020, through all of it. 10% versus 1.5. That gap, it's the difference between building wealth and just maintaining it. And right now, you might be thinking, Ricky, 5% is still positive, still growing. And yes, technically true, but safe does not automatically mean smart. Sometimes safe is just comfortable. Let me show you exactly what that gap looks like in real dollars. Say you have $10,000, high yield savings account, 5%. After 10 years, being generous and assuming the rate holds, you'd have roughly $16,200. Okay, now take that same 10,000, basic index fund, 10% annually, after 10 years, $25,900. That's nearly $10,000 difference. Same starting amount, same 10 years, same discipline. One person just chose a different vehicle for their money. And here's the concept that explains why the gap gets so dramatic. The rule of 72. Take 72 divided by your interest rate, and that tells you how long it takes to double your money. At 5%, 14 years to double. At 10%, 7 years to double. So in 14 years, the savings person doubled once. The index fund investor doubled twice. Same time frame, same person, completely different outcome. That's not luck, that's just math. So why does this gap keep growing over time? Compounding. When your money earns returns and then those returns earn returns, it snowballs. Slowly at first, then dramatically. At 5%, the snowball rolls, but it stays pretty small. At 10%, that snowball picks up speed every single year, and 20 years in, it's barely recognizable compared to where it started. Here's the part people miss, though. This isn't about being aggressive with your money. It's not about taking wild risks. It's about understanding what each dollar is actually for. Emergency fund needs to be safe, needs to be liquid. That's one job. Long-term money, money sitting there for 10, 20, 30 years, that money has a completely different job. And parking it at 5% is like hiring a marathon runner and making them sit at a desk. You're wasting the asset. Let me tell you about two people, Tyler and Sophia. Both 28, both responsible, both have $15,000 saved. Same starting line, completely. Tyler puts all $15,000 in a high-yield savings account, 5%. Feels safe, sleeps well, checks it every month, watches the numbers slowly go up. Sophia does something slightly different. She keeps $5,000 in the high-yield savings account. That's for emergency fund, untouched, ready if life happens. The other $10,000, she puts into a low-cost index fund. She's a little nervous at first, but she leaves it alone, doesn't touch it, doesn't panic when it dips. Fast forward 20 years, they're both 48. Tyler's $15,000 at 5% has grown to about $38,000. Honestly, not bad. He's proud of it. He should be. Sophia's $5,000 emergency fund? Around $13,000. Her $10,000 in the index fund at 10%? About $67,000. Sophia's total? Roughly $80,000. Tyler has $38,000, Sophia has $80,000. Same age, same starting amount, same 20 years of life. The difference is $42,000. And here's what I need you to notice. Sophia didn't do anything extreme. She didn't pick stocks, she didn't day trade, she didn't take crazy risks. She just understood what each dollar was for. Emergency money goes in the high-yield savings account. Absolutely. That account is perfect for that job. Long-term money, the money you won't need for years, that money needs to work harder. That's the whole game, honestly. That's it. And most people never make that distinction. They just put everything in one place, feel responsible, and wonder years later why their numbers aren't where they expected. That moment at 65 where you do the math and realize what you missed, that's a hard moment to sit with. Okay, pause real quick, because I know what you're thinking right now. Ricky, if this is so obvious, why doesn't everyone just do what Sophia did? And that is actually the most interesting part of this whole conversation. It comes down to something called loss aversion, and it's deeply psychological. Here's how it works. Losing $100 in a market dip feels terrible, painful, almost physical. But quietly earning 1.5% instead of 10% for 20 years, that loss is completely invisible. You never feel it happening. You just look up one day and wonder why you don't have more. That invisibility is exactly what makes it dangerous. The high-yield savings account feels safe because the number never goes down. You log in, it's always a little higher. That feels good. That feels like winning. But look, feelings are not a financial strategy. The market moves up and down, yes, but over 20 years, over 30, the direction is clear. Every major crash in history has recovered, every single one. The people who lost money permanently were the ones who panicked and pulled out at the bottom. The ones who stayed? They won. And now you might be thinking, but Ricky, if I put money in and the market crashes next month? Fair question, completely fair. Here's the honest answer. It might. In year one, you could be down 20%. That will feel terrible. But we're not talking about 1 year. We're talking about 10, 20, 30 years. Over that timeline, every crash has become a footnote. The risk isn't the market. The risk is letting fear make your long-term financial decisions. Here's what this really comes down to. Your financial results are built on habits, and habits are built on beliefs. If you believe the market is gambling, you'll stay in savings accounts forever. If you believe that slow, invisible loss is safe, you'll never question it. But the moment you start thinking in decades instead of months, everything shifts. The people who build real wealth aren't smarter, aren't luckier. They just started thinking longer term a little earlier, and they stopped letting comfort make their financial decisions for them. That shift from short-term safety to long-term strategy, Honestly, that mindset is worth more than any interest rate out there. All right, let's land this plane. High-yield savings accounts are not bad. They serve a real and important purpose. Emergency fund. Put it there. 3 to 6 months of expenses. Liquid, safe, accessible. The high-yield savings account is genuinely perfect for that job. Saving for something in the next 1 to 3 years? A car, a vacation, a down payment coming soon? High-yield savings makes total sense there too. But money you won't need for 5, 10, 20 years? That money is losing the compounding race every single day it sits at 5%. The math told us clearly. Rule of 72. 10% doubles in 7 years, 5% takes 14. Tyler ended up with 38,000, Sophia ended up with 80,000. Same money, same time, same discipline. The only difference was the strategy and the psychological trap, that feeling of safety because the number never drops. Watch out for that. That comfort is costing people serious money and they don't even feel it happening. Real financial safety isn't just protecting your dollars today. It's making sure those dollars actually take care of you in 20 years. So, the move is this. Emergency fund, high-yield savings, perfect fit. Long-term money? Have an honest conversation with yourself, because that money deserves a better vehicle. Look, I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do. That's always your call. But I do want you making that call with clear information. Not fear, not comfort, just clarity. If this video shifted even one idea for you, that's genuinely a win. If you're not subscribed yet, we do this every week. Real numbers, real decisions. No hype, no nonsense. And if this helped you out, you already know what to do down there. Take care of yourself and take care of that money. See you in the next one.